Hello, and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin Cash. Certainly one of the coins that is currently of high interest to many viewers. Therefore, we are covering it. Obviously, at some point it will likely break down. Then things are going to change again. But for now, certainly is one of the more interesting ones. Increased, I think, more than or around about 3 times its price since the November lows. Okay, so that's more than Bitcoin did in the same period. But don't forget that long term, Bitcoin Cash lost like 95 to 98% of value over Bitcoin. Yeah, we looked at that in a previous video. You just need to do the Bitcoin Cash BTC chart and then you will know the truth and the true performance compared to Bitcoin. Okay, so the idea is currently that price is coming down in a 5-wave move. I need to go to the daily chart. Okay, so here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my Elliott Wave count. The move up is currently only in 3 waves. And we can also take a look in this video what would be needed to prove that something more bullish is going on, okay, and that we do not get a sell-off in a wave 5 afterwards. First of all, what's important to understand is that in this move down, which I count a wave 1 impulse to the downside, price came down in a wave 1 already. That was the low in July 21, a wave 2 pullback, a wave 3 to the downside. This here is, at the moment at least, a crystal clear 3-wave move. That's why I count it as a wave 4. And then one more wave down is expected. And the ideal retracement or reaction area is this one between 206 and 268. Now it already broke above 206. So the last relevant resistance for a wave 4 is at $268. So if it breaks above that, something more bullish is going on, but we're not necessarily bullish. It would just be a larger corrective bounce. But that is the next major resistance level that I've got on this chart, $268. Now, very important, I cannot tell you for sure that price will react to it. But the wave count here that we have reveals those resistance levels. And if price doesn't react to 268, then we probably have to switch to an alternative wave count that we're going to talk about after this. But I want to first zoom in. So, that doesn't mean price will definitely come down. That's why we're following the short-term trend as well, okay? So as long as the short-term trend is running to the upside, it's beating the larger degree wave count, yeah? Because the short-term trend is where those larger degree wave counts will be confirmed. At the moment, I count the move up of the November 22 low as an A wave to the upside. Looks very corrective. Therefore counted as an A wave. Yes, it could be a wave 1 leading diagonal in a bullish interpretation, but we talk about the bullish scenario afterwards. The move down looks corrective as well as a B wave, a 3-wave move. Yes, could be a wave 2, but again, we talk about the more bullish interpretation afterwards. This is now interpreted as a C wave to the upside. You can see now that it's entered the resistance area, the headwinds are increasing. Yeah, so we had a very nice rally, but the headwinds are increasing. Nevertheless, it is still following our trend line. I gave you that trend line in the last 2 videos and said, okay, as long as it's holding the trend line, the short-term trend is higher. So don't just assume it will come down from there. As long as the trend line is holding, it's going to push higher, and it could even push above resistance. But an area to watch is the 268 level, or somewhere here in this region. If this wave count is correct, it should react and come down. Nevertheless, I gave you a support area against which price can push higher. So there are a few things here to watch. So when do we have a confirmation that the trend is shifting to the downside? Well, first of all, we need a break of the trend line. I think that would be a decent signal that the trend is shifting. Yeah, back to the downside. It happens all the time in crypto, so don't expect this to moon. It can do as long as it's following the short-term trend, right? But I know I see people talk about, it is now going to an all-time high, which of course it could do, but I tell you which conditions need to be fulfilled for it to do that. So it needs to hold the trend line. That's the first. As long as that is the case, it just pushes and it just follows it. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Now, if it breaks below the trend line, then it increases probabilities that we are coming down in this 5th wave to the downside. We can then use a Fibonacci support area to understand if we get one more high. Okay, so at the moment, this for me is still a C wave ongoing. Yeah, so it's still a 3-wave move to the upside. if price comes down now, it needs to hold the 50% retracement. So 1 second, let me just double check that. I might adjust that. Yep, I'm gonna adjust it. So if price comes down now, it first of all would obviously mean quite a substantial drop, most likely to 186 and 145 in that region. If price reacts to this region, it can give us one more high, and that will be relevant for the bullish scenario, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But below, a break below the trend line would already increase probabilities that we indeed are in this yellow wave count, in the primary wave count here, and could lead to new bear market lows. But if it's holding that support area, it would be a sign that a different wave count is playing out here, and we will talk about that in a minute. Yeah, so this is the scenario that is currently unfolding here as a C wave to the upside, most likely. Okay, if we talk about a sub wave count for this, I would say, okay, we had here possibly a wave 1 and a wave 2. Then this is another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So probably here a 3, a 4, and could be in its final stages of this C wave. We're going to uncover that in a little bit more detail now. So why is this wave count? So I might shift things around a little bit, but let's take a look. So 5 waves up, nearly done. Okay, it already fulfilled the minimum requirements, but it can still extend higher. So the idea is we had a wave 1, 2. So wave 1 to the upside here, A, B, C, flat pattern in a wave 2. Then another 1, 2 setup here. We can actually label that as well. This looks like another wave 1, wave 2. This here, probably a third wave. This here, a fourth wave. And the fifth wave is a small 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, pretty much with a very long wave 5, which is fine and valid. Wave 3 doesn't need to be the longest. It just mustn't be the shortest. Cryptos often extend in a fifth wave. So then we've finished here the third wave, the fourth, and we could be in this fifth wave now of wave C. So at the end of the C wave, we get the moment of truth. Yeah, but as long as it's holding the trend line, this is likely to extend higher. So could certainly get one more high here, because I spot within this fifth wave at the moment a small 1, 2, 3. This could be a 4 and wave 5. So one more high, certainly likely, even in the more bearish scenario. And then we need to be watching for a break of the trend line, and then be watching for this support area. What happens if it very aggressively breaks above the red resistance zone? Well, if it does that, then I would assume if it goes directly, yeah, and it remains a 3-wave move, because at the moment I'm looking at this as an ABC structure. If it just escalates higher, we still have a 3-wave move. I would then have to assume that this is already a wave 2, which can go higher. We will then talk about that, but it can then go higher, obviously. 268 is a little bit like a breakout point, but be aware next resistance, structural resistance, is already here at 390. But then we probably have a deeper pullback in a wave 2. It would not be bullish. When would it turn bullish? It will turn bullish if we get something like that. That wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 into the orange support area, and one more high in a wave 5. Ideally, it avoids an overlap with that high at 150. If we get 5 waves up, then we can count that as a possible wave 1. And then we are looking for a pullback zone in a wave 2. And then it can rally. So we need a complete 5-wave structure to the upside. And we need 5 waves, not 3, 5. And then we can look forward to a 3-wave pullback. And if it's holding that, and cryptos rarely do that after such a pump, you know, we've seen it many times, then we can talk about a really aggressive rally in a 3rd wave. But we are not there yet. I'm pointing out that potential, of course, but it would need to give me 5 waves first, which is why I'm saying if the trend line breaks, we are watching for this support area. This would be support for a possible 4th wave. And we have to adjust it depending on how high the price will go. And then if it can give us a 5th wave, then it has higher probabilities of holding higher low afterwards. But I don't see it at this stage. But we'll see. This is just all there, the stuff that we're watching for. But yeah, that's my update about Bitcoin Cash. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.